Thank you for staying with us. According to the World Health Organization, there are about 27 million Nigerians living with some form of disability, where the commonest types of disabilities include visual impairment, hearing impairment, physical impairment, intellectual impairment, and communication impairment. Now, 6 years after the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act was introduced, the integration of persons with disabilities into the society remains a tall order. But with the entrance of many international developmental partners into the Nigerian space and the formation of local organizations with vested interest in the physical challenged, some progress has been made in terms of creating awareness, mobilizing governmental and non-governmental stakeholders to advance disability rights in the country. Well, joining us for this conversation is the Program Assistant, Center for Citizens with Disabilities, Christiana Njoku. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
And beyond talking about the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act that Nigeria has, Nigeria is also a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Yet we say there's still a struggle with inclusivity. We know a lot of societies, what we talk about now is inclusivity, ensuring that no one is left behind. What really is the challenge here for us as a country?
Okay, thank you so very much for that question. You know, when we talk about issues of persons with disabilities, the issues are quite enormous. However, like I've always said, we are making progress, but, you know, more needs to be done. Now, the challenge is that when you were, you know, taking me through the content for this, and you said awareness, we have made progress in terms of awareness. I would like to say that there's still need for more awareness, and that's why we are here. Okay, now, so one of the challenges is that the society still believe that persons with disabilities needs to be ostracized.
Really?
Yes, there are, in this society that we are, some still believe that persons with disabilities are not human beings. And so the challenge is that when society agrees that persons with disabilities are human beings and they have equal rights just like others without disability, I think progress will be.
So if you're talking about society, for instance, President Bola Tinubu in 2023 actually ratified the African Union's protocol promoting the right of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. Also the House of Representatives, the National Assembly has also passed different laws and all of that. Talk to us about how you think this can trickle down to the society, because having traditional leaders, some of them will still believe that, okay, the reason why there's disability is due to witchcraft and all of that. So how do you think we can actually change this narrative so that they will not be ostracized and be seen as someone who doesn't belong to the society?
Like I said, it starts with the society. Like the community leaders are part of the society. And we thank the former President Muhammad Buhari for signing the Disability Act. And this is 6 years anniversary. It's something we are really pushing for more awareness to be made. Now, there are laws. The issue is implementation, enforcement of this law. There are laws. We have various laws. You mentioned United Nations Convention on the Rights of. It's a law on its own, which Nigeria is a signatory to, ratify that law. We have our Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act of 2018. It's still intact. And we have other laws like that. So the challenge is that these laws, they need to be fully implemented. And it has to do with creating more awareness, because there are other people out there that are yet to know about this law. So if these laws are well implemented, I think the society will be able to...
Why has it not been implemented? Because if there are laws, there is need for it to be implemented. What are the factors mitigating this implementation?
Okay, like, you know, some of these ministries, agencies, departments. Now, the issue is budgetary, budgetary allocation. Most of them do not have the budget to make this. We are talking of inclusion. Persons with disabilities needs to be included in all strata of the society. Now, when it comes to the ministry department, they are still like, okay, we do not have budget for inclusive budgeting to carry PLWDS along, and that's a challenge. So one of the advocacy we are making is that there should be inclusive budgeting for persons with disabilities. And from there, we see persons with disabilities being included in the society.
Budgetary allocation. Well, it also boils down to awareness, because if you understand the plights of these persons, you will know that there is the need for allocation to be made, such that, you know, they will be included in whatever decisions that are being made. But so far, so good. Talk to us about, because there are those who will tell you that we have moved from where we used to be. Look at INEC, for instance. They ensure that persons with disabilities are properly taken care of. They ensure that whatever it is that has to be done for these persons are done. But right now we need to move further. I am wondering what kinds of engagement, beyond coming on set to talk about this, you're having with state governments, because there are 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, and every state has its peculiarities when we're talking about this matter. Lagos, for instance, is doing a lot when you talk about persons with disabilities. But how about other states who are still trying to find their footing on this? Okay,
talking about other states, we have other states that has also, you know, they now have their state disability law, and that is plausible. Over 22 states now have, you know, they have disability law. Talking about engagement, we've been able to engage relevant stakeholders when it comes to disability. And don't forget, Center for Citizens with Disability, the core thing we do is inclusion, participation, access, and mainstreaming of issues of critical concerns of persons with disabilities into programs and activities of state and non-state actors. And over the years, we've been able to advocate for their inclusion, their rights, and development in every strata. Talking about other states, we've also moved, like Center for Citizens with Disability also, you know, led the campaign that led to the signing of the
and that's how we are able to get 22 states
definitely
into this. So how are you building on that now to ensure the 36 states and as well as the Federal Capital Territory also get on board?
All right, we engage all this, the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability in each state. And that's how they can get to, you know, to relate with their state governance, because that's the unit, that's the umbrella body for all persons with disability in each state. So we engage the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability in each state to ensure that they keep advocating for the rights and inclusion of persons with disabilities.
All right. That would be a fine place to leave this conversation. And so we must tell you well done for all that you have been doing and wish you all the best. Christiana Njoku, Program Assistant, Center for Citizens with Disabilities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, still ahead on TVC Breakfast, the group calls for improved funding for rehabilitation.